Okay, I'm gonna re-record this because I got a little extra tip here, but this is a 85 square body GMC truck. The engine's a 74 350 Chevy small block. So I just rebuilt this engine and watched some videos on setting the timing and dropping in a new distributor, and then went to test it to start it, and I feel like my timing is way off. So I have a couple tips that would have helped me a lot to really understand what's going on here. So as most of them say, take your valve cover off. You got your exhaust valve, your intake valve on your number one cylinder up in this corner over here. Then, take your spark plug out, and then manually turn your engine over until you see your exhaust open and close, and then you'll see the intake start to open by going down, and then as soon as it comes up, it's closed. And then you line up the mark on your harmonic balancer. There's a mark with your timing mark over here, and then that should be top dead center. And then stick something in there. Make sure you can feel a piston really lightly. Don't scratch anything or anything. I just tapped in there with a screwdriver this time. I didn't do that last time, but mine's well. And then another note is last time I was going off my timing cover in there, and I bought a new timing cover which moved the timing marks over here. I assumed they corrected positioning on numbers, but I don't think that's the case. So I'm just going to go off my old timing cover, and then this time I actually felt for a piston. So, and plus it makes it easier to see right here. Just hang it there, put the ratchet through the crank hole, which is where the bolt's going to be. Lined up my mark over here. So yeah, I saw the intake open close, lined up my marks over here, felt there's a piston there lightly. But then I think the biggest deal that screwed me up is they all say point the rotor over at the number one cylinder, point the vacuum, they say in that direction, cylinder 6 or something over there. I've heard kind of different ways. They're like over in that direction is normal. So then I was kind of set on where is the vacuum supposed to actually go, and then I feel like overall that screwed up my actual timing, which in reality, now that I think of it, it really doesn't matter where that is. It's more aesthetic and everything else. What's important is having the rotor where it's actually going to fire on your cap. They say point it at the cylinder, but then determining where you're putting it, that could be different where it's actually firing on your cap. So what I did is I made a mark on the case where on the cap I'm actually going to put the number one plug. So that's where it's going to fire. And then, so get everything to top dead center, drop it in. Notice that it's going to turn as it meshes gears, so correct for that. And then at the bottom, you will have for your oil pump, you'll have a fitting like that, which needs to line up, which drop your distributor in. So this is an oil priming tool I made out of an old distributor. It typically has gears here on your distributor. So that's gonna mesh, and then line that up where your mark is. And then it's not going to go in all the way because that doesn't line up. Manually turn it over by hand, and then you'll see that drop. Now everything's meshed, and then this is where I stopped on my last video, but then I did it and then realized the fact that after I rotate it to line that up, now your marks aren't lined up anymore. So then what I did is I just kept rotating it over, found top dead center again, and now I'm going to line up my rotor with my mark. So then everything should be good. Then I can tighten it up, and it should be a lot better of a number than just pointing it in a random direction. You know, point it in a general direction. It should get you a lot better positioning. And if you're curious, oil priming tool, I made this out of an old distributor. I rebuilt this engine I bought online, and then it had the old school points distributor. So then I got the electric one, and then so I bought that and then just cut this one up instead of buying a priming tool. So essentially what I did is you have a nut up here. You can see, well, it looks like a nut in your distributor, which keeps it from moving in and out. So essentially I cut that nut off, which let me slide the shaft out, cut the casing there, cleaned up the edge over here, cleaned up the edge over here, grinder, and then grind all your gears off. Down here, which is gonna take a while, need some effort, but save you a couple bucks, I guess, if you're gonna throw away a distributor. So yeah, do that, and then my drill wouldn't fit all the way, so then I had to make that a little smaller down at the end over there. And then yeah, that's it. Drop it in, spin that with a drill. You can prime your oil. Yeah, so hope that all helped. Right now I just moved it back to top dead center, so then I'm gonna reline up my rotor with my mark. You can see right now, even I just did that, and then it moving a little bit, it even threw it up a little bit, just rotating it back. But now I'm gonna line up my mark and then tighten it down, and then hopefully I should be good and I can finally hear this engine run. So yeah, hope that helped.